So guys, let's give it up for Jarad and Loren Richards from Texas.
Hi, Viseo family. We're so happy to be here today to share with y'all. I really want to thank Dallin and Daniel for allowing us to tell you guys our story. Before I can really even start about our story, I have to share a little bit about our past. And this is going to be mainly about me, but I'm going to bring Jarad in on the backside. So I was really great at sports when I was younger. And when I started to tell Jarad where I was going with this, he was like, you should totally leave that out. But I was naturally athletic and good at most of everything I did. And as you can see from this photo, this is me playing softball in college. I won state in track and got a scholarship to play ball. But I only played for 1 year because I did not like the grind. I hated practices, like loathed them. But I loved the games because that was the fun. And in my eyes, I was good enough. I was like, I got here, I'm good enough. Why do I need to hustle? I had zero work ethic. I thought the talent that I had would carry me through. And at the college level, it required way more. It required hustle and character and other qualities that I didn't have at that age. I started dating Jarad when I was 19 years old. He was a baseball coach and a football coach in a nearby town. He was driven, goal-oriented, and aspired to climb the coaching ladder. And I didn't know anything about the coaching ladder, but I knew that he wanted this dream. And through our relationship, I learned so many qualities that I never had. I didn't know what hard work looked like because I only gave 60 or 70% because that was good enough. That was good enough to get me where I wanted to go. Talent is a gift, but your work ethic and your attitude and your character are things that you have to develop on your own. I'd never done any personal development until I married into the coaching world. Some that have started in this industry are really talented, and they have just natural God-given gifts. Like, they might be able to recruit somebody, and it's not hard for them. It just comes natural. They're so likable that they can just easily get people signed up. But they lack the work ethic that it takes to really get to the top in this industry. 4 years ago, Jarad and I were coaching. Jarad was coaching outside of Houston, Texas, and this is us here with our little girl. And I was working at an emergency room in a freestanding emergency room clinic as a cardiac and vascular ultrasound tech. Y'all, I was miserable. We had a 3-year-old this time and a 3-month-old this time. I despised going to work. Like, if I'm being honest, I had the worst work ethic at my job because I wanted to be home. I wanted to be home with my babies. I never really wanted to be a mom when I was younger. And then I had kids, and all I ever wanted to do was spend time with them. And I was leaving them every day with a friend who got to spend more time with them than I got to. And it hurt my mama heart. And I know some of you watching can probably relate to this too. You want to be home with your babies. So I left my job out of the middle of nowhere. I just quit. And I got into real estate investing. I wanted to flip houses like Chip and Joanna and have my own TV show. And this is me spray painting a house. I was doing really great. I was making good income. It was a lot of fun. But it did not get me back home to my kids, which is the whole reason I left healthcare. I wanted to be with them. And it was a lot of physical labor. And I ain't trying to work all that hard, So it was dependent on me, and I just didn't want to do it. And my realtor, Jen, y'all are taking me back right now, but my realtor, Jen, asked me to take a look at an opportunity that she thought could get me back home to my kids. And I knew that it was like one of those things, and so I was like, no way. I said no 3 times, okay? But on the 3rd time, when she offered this opportunity to me, my husband just happened to be home, and he said yes. And it was the first time he had ever heard about it. Like, he didn't know what she was doing. I said, are you nuts? Like, I am never going to be that girl. I will never tell a single person that we are doing this. He said, what do we have to lose? He said, who cares if we never make any money and you never tell anybody about it? But we need to put good quality products and nutrition into our kids. And I was like, oh, still not doing it. but I stumbled into the business on accident. I accidentally got my first commission from my radiology boss. And from that point on, it really set me on fire to want to have more. I went to have lunch with him. His name was Richard. And I told him about how great I was feeling and that Jarad had me taking all this stuff. And, he started asking me questions. I said, I don't know what I'm taking. I can't tell you any information about it, right? Just total ignorance on fire. I said, but if you want more information, you should talk to my realtor friend, Jen. So I put him on the phone with Jen. She explained to him everything that we were doing, and he decided he was going to get involved. My very first check in this industry was $148. And I realized how this worked, and I wanted more. I ended up setting my goal to make $1,000 a week, $1,000 a month, because Jarad and I lived paycheck to paycheck. I married a teacher, right? I didn't marry him for money. I clearly married him for looks, right? But so I couldn't wait to share this with every single person because I knew that everyone out there would want extra income. Who wouldn't want extra income? I would set a goal, and I would go after it, and I would achieve it. Whether it was like, want to go on this first trip, want to get to this first rank, want to be star 800, want to be gold, I would set it and I would go after it. And quickly I realized that this was the vehicle that was going to get me back home to my babies. And I worked this business in every single nook and cranny where I could find time. My parents thought I was insane. I was doing reach outs and invites in between all the mom duties that I had. And I would ask my mom to watch my kids for me. And I would invite my friends and family to come over to their house where she could watch the kids so that I could flip the chart and explain to people what I was doing, and then I would follow it up with a connect call. And at this time, my daughter was 4, and my son was 1. And it was so hard to find time to do this with 2, small kids and as a mom. But I set my goals really high. And then I knew that I would need help if I wanted to achieve them. And I wasn't afraid to ask anybody for help. Like, if you want to give me help, I'll ask you. And so 4 years now, I have been doing this full time. And everything that was one of my whys, right, when I first started, has been accomplished. I know that sounds crazy, but my first big goal was to be a Viseo diamond. I wanted to be a diamond so bad. I was 7 months pregnant, out running the roads with my amazing team, 6 nights a week to achieve this goal. How did I achieve that goal in this stage of my pregnancy? Because I'll tell you, $1 million dreams aren't built on minimum wage work ethic. Work ethic, in my opinion, is the most important component of being successful. I was exhausted during this time. Imagine being 7 months pregnant. It was 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas. I had to pay someone to do all my Christmas shopping and wrap my Christmas gifts. I made tons of sacrifices during this time, hard sacrifices. I cried a lot. My daughter told me, Mommy, why do you leave me all the time? I had to miss my kids' Christmas programs at their schools. They would be gone to school when I woke up, and I would be on the roads to meetings 3 to 4 hours away when they got out of school. Guys, your work ethic will take you places that your talent could never get you. And I was talented enough when I was younger to get me close enough to where I wanted to go, but never all the way. And when Jarad came into my life, the coaching life taught me a whole new life lesson. I learned to love the hustle because I watched my husband do it. You got to learn to love the grind. You got to show up every day for your business, every single day. And that was me, being willing to do 4 to 5 meetings a week versus somebody who's maybe only willing to do 1. You don't win a state championship football game just from 1 good practice. You show up at practice and you hustle and you work hard every single day. The best teams out there will tell you that. You have to show up even when you don't want to. You got to show up even when you're tired. Even when you don't want to jump on that Zoom training or get on that 3-way call, right? You still got to show up. Jarad has listened to tons of motivational speakers. I have listened to tons of athletic directors and coaches in the last 20 years. of being a coach. And one of Jarad's favorite speakers is Eric Thomas. Eric says you have to love the process. He tells his athletes that they love the score. They love that scoreboard at the end of the game, but they don't love the process. How does that apply here in this business, right? I'm gonna be real honest, I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to myself too. Some of us love that rank, but we don't love the process of how to achieve it. We don't love the grind. We love the idea of being a black diamond, but are we really doing the work daily that it takes to be a black diamond? How many of you avoid your weaknesses? Do you avoid the things that you aren't good at? I know I do. What are some things that you feel you're weak at? Because you got to turn those weaknesses into your strengths. Is recruiting your weakness? Sponsoring people? So you spend more time in your back office? Is social media your weakness? So you spend more time trying to think of other ways to reach people and reinvent the wheel? Is building a team your weakness so that you spend more time creating social media content? Y'all see where I'm going with this, right? Okay. There are ways to avoid doing what you're bad at when you should really be spending more time doing that. And that was what I did. If you are weak at an area that is important to your success, you should grind and hustle more in that area. You don't have to be the best recruiter. I know Ricky's probably like, what did she say? You do not have to be the best recruiter to hit your goals. You just have to have a strong work ethic. Because the more you work at recruiting and sponsoring and reaching out to people, the better you're gonna get at it. You can get to diamond by outworking a good recruiter. I know he rolled over just now, but you can outwork a good recruiter because your strength is driving depth and growing a team culture. One of the things that I learned in this coach's wife life is that coaches put in work behind the scenes that no one gives them credit for. How many of you feel this right now? Everyone sees the work that football coaches do on Friday nights and practices, but no one sees the stuff that you do daily that nobody gets credit for that's just as important, like painting the fields and laundry and pulling weeds and preparing practices. Nobody sees those things. No one sees the personal development in this business that you do daily. No one sees the constant reach outs or the invites. We only just see when, someone new joins. You can't see every time I get told no. You only see it when I'm welcoming someone new to the group. You don't see the countless hours I spend at nighttime while my family is asleep creating content on my phone for my team. You just see it when I put it on my page. But even when it goes unrecognized, guys, you gotta show up and you gotta put in the work. And there's a professional basketball player named Damian Lillard that said, if you wanna look good in front of thousands, you gotta do the work. You gotta do the work when no one else is looking. How's it go? If you wanna look good in front of thousands, you gotta do the work and thousands wouldn't do, okay? So do the work even if nobody's looking. Do the work even if you don't get recognition. Do the work even if you don't get the outcome that you want. Because the truth of the situation is, you know you're putting in the work. You know you're putting in the time. Your grind might not look the same as my grind. So finding the time to work your business and do those income-producing activities is still part of you putting in the work. Gilbert Anderson, shout out. His grinding process does not look like mine because we're in different seasons of our lives. We don't have the same 24 hours a day. So don't look at me and say, I can't do what she did because you're not me. You're you. Your circumstances are different. You have to find a way to put in the work it takes. I'm full-time, you're part-time. My process looks different than yours. You have to love the process so much that you commit to it every day. Not just on the days that someone gives you recognition. This is so important. Not just on the days that someone says yes and joins your team. Not just on the days when you get on a company call and Dallin and Daniel fire you up and you're so motivated. Because if you don't love the process, you'll grow bitter about the work that is necessary to do this. And you'll start looking for areas that you can find a break. And you'll find that break in your business. and you'll start using excuses to not do reach outs or invite to meetings. And you'll start looking for ways where you can cut out parts of your income producing activities. Times will get hard. And it's easy to choose your business to give up on. For example, I got team members on this team who could use their circumstances right now to just give up. And I'm not going to go into that detail because I'm going to run out of time. But, they had some hard times and they still showed up because they love the process. The Texas freeze hit them. They lost everything. They had to move in with family members and they still showed up every single day because they love the process. They never missed a Zoom training. They never missed a call. They never missed nothing. And so do it even when you love the process. This person wasn't going to let things get in the way and keep them from their business. The last thing, guys, that's so important to me that I learned from being a coach's wife is that some of the best coaching staffs are full of head coaches that want to be a head coach. Their dreams are to move up the ladder and become where that head coach is one day. And they want to put in the work to be in that leadership position. And I work daily with a team that's ready to climb the ladder and move up those ranks. And it's so important to work with those who want to work with you. They match your work ethic. They love the process. They want to get better. That is why I'm standing in front of you today, because I have a team who loves the process. So don't be threatened by the work that your team wants to put in. Run with them. And when you begin to evaluate where your business is today versus where you want to be, I want to ask you this. If you built a house with your work ethic and your dedication and your preparation, would you trust its foundation enough to live in it? Think about that. Robert Griffin III said that. Because what has your work ethic looked like since you started? My husband and his career path taught me a lot about being successful. And even if you're watching this today and you have none of those qualities, there's still plenty of time to work on them. You don't need a Jarad Richards in your life. You just need to stay plugged into these amazing leaders and be coachable and learn from them. We're all here to help you. This company and the leadership in our corporate team and Dallin and Daniel have put you in a position to win. The other qualities, that's on you. One last thing that I'm going to tell you guys real quick is as I was gathering my thoughts today to share with you guys, I have all my notes. Jarad looked over at me. He said, "So are you saying that I changed your life?" I just rolled my eyes and I said, "Whatever." But seriously, all joking aside, he really did. He's the one who said yes to this opportunity. And I wouldn't be in this industry if it weren't for him being open-minded enough to see it. He taught me a lot about work ethic, which is what got us here today. And this past year, Jarad was able to retire from being a football coach. It was always one of my whys. Our dream was always that he could make enough money in this industry so that it would replace his coaching stipend. And we achieved that. So now he just gets to teach math, which I'm sure he's thrilled about, and come home at 4 o'clock every day to be with our babes. So I want you real quick just to hear his perspective and how this industry in the last 20 years of coaching has helped him.
Thanks, babe. Guys, I'm sure you can all clearly tell I outkicked my coverage right here, And so, when she told me what she was going to talk about, that's why you get into education. Somebody inspired me when I was in school. Coaches made an impression on me. And to be in this position now, and my wife had told me what she was going to talk about, that kind of blew me away, because I'm expecting to talk to or to inspire and mentor and motivate young kids. And here it is, apparently my wife has it's made an impact on her. So I want to just leave with kind of a call to action and share a real quick story. One of the best compliments that we ever had as a coaching staff was we had a rival team that we were both outstanding football programs, and every year we would knock them out deep in the playoffs. And we were at a basketball game one night, and the other team's head coach was just over on the side talking to us. He said, what's the difference in your team and our team? It's not you have better players or better coaching staffs, but if you and I right now got in a fist fight, your team up in the bleachers would get out and come down here and get in the fight with you. And my team would sit up there and just watch. And so I don't know about you guys, but the family that we got here in Viseo with Dallin and Daniel and the leadership that's fixing to continue pouring into you guys for the rest, if you don't love what you're seeing and you don't trust that family, I don't know what's wrong with you. Because right now I want, and I hope that you want, I know Lauren and I want, we want to get out of the bleachers and get in the fight. We want to get in the trenches and go to work. So, let's go. 90-day run. Everybody call to action. Let's take Viseo to the top. Starts coming out of this weekend. Thanks, guys.
Woo! Thank y'all.